EnterTalk Radio, you're in to all things music.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Berthiaume.
Love is gone, so what can matter? No sweet lover man comes to call.
Everybody, welcome to a jazzy Monday, and more importantly, proud to introduce a new series on Jackie's Groove and EnterTalk Radio called Emerging Mondays. You know what? I've been blessed over my life and my career to have it. People pay it forward to me going in this industry itself, and we felt it would be we pay homage to those that are emerging, that have an amazing career ahead of them, and what better way to do it to expose it to the to the listeners worldwide. So with that said, it's a beautiful, well, it's kind of cloudy out here in the studio area, July 24th, and I am proud and privileged to bring not only to Emerging Mondays an incredible vocalist, but like a girl that I call my personal friend. So with that, everybody, I want everybody welcome with open arms and open ears to Jackie's Groove, Miss Tu Ho. Hi, baby girl. How are you? Welcome.
Thanks so much, Jackie, for having me on the show.
Yeah, you're the first one, girl. This is the maiden voyage. I'm
All
taking
right.
your virginity, girl.
I know.
Isn't it
Jackie.
good? It's all good, guys. Hey, you know what? So, too, welcome to Southern California, honey. I'm sorry we missed you live in the studio. The CEO was sick, a little miscommunication, and I just got too much stuff on my plate to get a cold, and so do you. So with that said, we're going to do it the normal way from my studio here in Temecula and your studio there in San Diego.
Fantastic.
Welcome to Southern California. Hey, the listeners want to know, girl, what is on your agenda? What's on your plate, girl? Let's talk about music and what's led you to that situation. We'll talk about your normal job. Let's talk about Let's talk about, why not? Let's talk about your passion for what you have in store for music.
What do I have in store for music? So I think what I would like to do is to bring feeling and a certain intimacy back to music. And I think jazz music is a form of music where the conversation is very important. The storyline is extremely important. More so than I would say, the beauty of the voice or the rhythm. It's really about how do you converse to your audience? How do you allow them to feel what you're feeling and understand the story? And I think jazz music really embodies that. And if we can somehow allow jazz music to emerge back into modern music, by using different beats, different harmonizations to make it more sound more modern, I think that would be great. I think some of the music that we hear now, it loses that intimacy.
Well, and all great music stems from jazz originally. That's the whole vibe. And I kind of want to know the background, a little bit of a backstory itself. With the Ho family. What was the Ho family?
Exactly.
No pun intended. What was the background? What was the music that was being played through the speakers of your home growing up? What gave you the inspiration for jazz?
Jazz came a lot later for me. I grew up with my parents playing Vietnamese folk music and music in Vietnam from the 60s and 70s. And it was beautiful, but I was pretty isolated. They didn't really play modern music on the radio.
Not allowed?
I wouldn't say it's not allowed. I didn't really ask for it. I was just kind of happy going to school and being exposed to certain the music, modern music at that point in my life. But for me, it was really about Vietnamese music and classical music. I played violin. So it wasn't until middle school that I became more exposed to R&B, which was my, the next love of my life was listening to R&B. That was the time, of Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey and Natalie Cole. These were the people I looked up to.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole thing, I mean, you're talking about Natalie Cole, you're talking about and so on. What sparked you?
To go into jazz.
To really make it. Yeah, to go into jazz. I remember I have to tell everybody here, a year ago, April, my birthday here at my house, my wife had a great little soiree here, and we had two, and my crew, Paul and Florentino and a bunch of family members, and Tu took it upon herself. I had no idea Tu sang. And she sang the most alluring happy birthday. And it wasn't the happy birthday, it wasn't a Marilyn Monroe kind of a thing.
Yeah. It
It was just really, really sexy. And I got to tell you, I was shocked. I mean, because I know Tu as a girl who helped EnterTalk, and our live interviews at NAMM. Mm-hmm. And so unbeknownst to me, this girl comes up and kicks my ass in the way of jazz. So, I always believed you from that day forward that you had a career ahead of you.
Oh,
and
thank you,
for
Jackie.
those of you who get a chance to go to YouTube and type in THU, first name, Ho, second, and you can search her and you can see her live, and also you can follow her on Facebook, in which she takes the time for Tu Ho Jazz, and you can take a look at some of her live footage itself, and and agree with me that the girl's got it. Not only physically is she a beautiful girl, but her voice is as sexy as the woman behind that. So. Now I've blown smoke up your ass, girl.
Thank you.
Let's get back to the crux of it all. I'm going to tell everybody, give you a spoiler. We are going to go live today with you and Paul Berzetsky in the studio on a tune, and we're going to do that later on.
Yeah.
So get your voice opened up, and Paul can get his stuff together. So let's go back to the whole situation of growing up. You said that your inspirations came from Whitney and so on and so forth. But now fast forward into your latter years in the love of jazz. Who were you listening to? Were you into Nancy Wilson? Were you into Ella and so on and so forth? What inspired you from there on out?
So it all started actually at Burning Man, which is this huge festival. It's this huge festival out 80 miles north of where am I talking about? Reno, Nevada. And I've gone to Burning Man several times, but about 2-3 years ago, something was different. I wandered into the jazz camp, which is a really big camp at Burning Man. And jazz is played basically 24 hours, and from 10 p.m. until sunrise, there's a live jazz band that plays. And you come in there and you bring your instrument, whatever it is that you play, and join the band.
And let me jump in real quick. For those who are not familiar with Burning Man, let me just give you your description itself. You'll go there clean, and you'll come out with 5 pounds of dirt on your body.
Dust.
Number two, dust. And it is basically, the only way to make it into a layman terms, it's like Mad Max on meth. Yeah. I mean, it is some really outrageous, like what a bad dream would be all about. I've got friends of mine that go there. They've invited me. I just won't do it. So, and I did not know that there was jazz playing. I mean, how weird would that be for that whole look? What were they playing? Was it modern jazz, contemporary, and so on?
All different types. You have the early stuff from the 20s and 30s. You have people playing more contemporary jazz. The band who dedicates themselves to playing every night, they can play everything, and then you have people coming in from all over the world who play jazz in their respective countries, and they say, hey, let's play this tune. And sometimes you're just blown away by their talent, and they just came from nowhere into this tent, and the jazz plays until sunrise, and at that point you go grab breakfast and continue on with your life. But
was it a house band? Did they consider themselves a house band, and then the vocalist would be you and those who could sing?
Exactly. And that's how it all started. I was in there. I had learned a few tunes already that at the time that I learned them, I didn't know it was jazz. I just thought, these are beautiful ballads. I'm going to learn them.
Right.
I went in there. I sang Summertime. I sang Misty. And the head of the camp, his name is Neil Kelly. He became my first mentor. And he just kind of took me under his wing and said, when we're done with Burning Man and we're out in the default world again, this is how you can find me, and we'll see where things can go. And he was the one who kind of helped started it all for me, let me sit in on his gigs, and from there give me pointers and tips, and then I moved on from there.
The reason, the listeners, I'm going to tell, the reason why I'm enthralled with everything that's got to do with Miss Ho is the fact that, again, meeting her for the first time, I fell in love with her. In fact, Florentino and Paul and everybody kind of gave us the vibe 2 years ago. NAMM, we took two and the crew back to their cars, off the property of NAMM. And Florentino told me the next day, he goes, Tu said she had the most amazing time because my wife and I were arguing about where to turn right and left and so on and so forth. And apparently that was the highlight of the NAMM show for Tu. and I didn't really know who this woman was other than doing some live broadcasts, as I said, from the show. And then I find out later on, this is before my birthday, this is before me knowing that she was a singer, this is before me knowing that the girl had the ability to interview, this is before the fact that when I found out, and this, now if you guys are sitting down, if you're driving, you better be sitting down, I was blown away because I'm going to brag about this woman. Not only is she physically beautiful, does she not only have an amazing voice, but this woman is a pediatric physician. She's an MD, folks. And that's what blows me out of the water. The fact of the matter is I know a few doctors out there that want to play music and they have their little garage bands and so on, and they're better off in the operating room. But this girl can actually, she's got pipes. And the fact of the matter is she's more, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, all right.
She's more into the jazz music than she is into her main profession.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Well, every once in a while she'll send me a picture of her in her white lab coat and everything else, and that's the way it's a dichotomy that I just can't put together because I'm so used to seeing her in her everyday wear. So now, with that itself, have you, being a pediatric doctor, have you instilled or have you used your musical background for the greater good for these babies that you're taking care of? Do you sing to them at all?
Yes.
Share with us.
Yes, no, I have. When I was in my residency program up at UCSF, I would sing to the patients in the pediatric ICU. Just because it's a setting. Normally these kids they all have their individual suites because they're so sick, and the rooms are isolated, and there's enough walls so that the sound doesn't creep out into the hallway and bother other parents and children. And so I would when I have my long nights of call, 30 hours of call, I would just kind of go to the ICU and sing to the kids. And usually it's Disney songs. I don't think they care for jazz.
And what blows me away, girls, my mom was a surgical nurse. She ran the open heart team for 32 years before she passed away. And when she started her, I don't know, do you call nursing a residency also, or you just call it, she was at UC Irvine is where she graduated years ago. And she started out in pediatric, and she had to leave that because it broke her heart.
Yeah.
And when I see things on from the Children's Hospital and St. Jude's and so on, and I see these little babies that, I get choked up thinking about it. And I always look at the screen and I'm crying, and my wife looks at me and she goes, "You are the biggest heart." I said, "These babies don't have it. They have not had a chance." They're just that way. So you want to pay it forward to them. And then if you can take your voice and sing something out of a Disney, like Ariel, Little Mermaid or whatever, and see those babies' little eyes light up, how does that make your heart feel? Is that inspiration for you to continue on with what you do, both sides?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's one of the reasons why pediatricians become pediatricians. Of course, it breaks your heart to see such young children going through so much pain and often having to face death way before they should be even thinking about it.
Right.
But it's because you feel that way. It's because you have that passion that you're able to keep going and be able to, I guess, find strength in your pain and suffering in order to help them.
Other than your education of all the years in medical school itself, correct me if I'm wrong, educate me one more time. Do you write or read music?
Yes. So I, like I said, I was classically trained on violin through most of my childhood. when I got to college, I was studying with Merrill Shea, who is on faculty at the Boston Conservatory. So I studied classical singing there. So it was mainly Broadway and opera. And so, yes, I can read music. I can write music as well. And it's been very much a part of my life. When I went into medicine, I would have to say the training was so intense that I had to kind of put it on the back burner and just maybe, sing once in a while here and there in an a cappella group. But I couldn't really progress anymore until I was done with my training.
I'd like to introduce you to a friend of mine when we get together and when the timing is right. I interviewed her on Friday, and it's Carly Thomas Smith.
Yeah.
And Carly is been a friend of mine. She's the quintessential background singer for everybody in the industry itself. Not only that, she's an accomplished actress. She just landed the gig on the new season of Curb Your Enthusiasm on HBO. But again, she's got that triple threat also because she's been in Rent, she's been in Jersey Boys on Broadway.
Wow.
And star of 2.5 Men and Friends and the like and so on. But again, too, her passion is not so much Broadway, not so much television and film. It's when she's on stage singing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to send you her song. It's called Holiday Blues. And the reason why it's kind of cool, she says, everybody puts out a holiday album. It's all about joyful situations and families and holding hands and singing Kumbaya around a fireplace. But not everybody has that joy during the holidays. So her song that became a very big hit is called Holiday Blues.
Holiday Blues.
And it's on the blues format. And, it makes sense. It's almost kind of like sacrilege to have blues during the holidays. But, you've got to patronize both sides. So with that said, my love, look at this. We're already out of the first segment. The 1 hour interview. Yeah, it's quick, and we haven't even touched on everything else. So we're going to get downright personal when it comes to music.
All right.
And because the listening audience wants to know more about what's going on, and now they know that you're a doctor, we'll put that to the side, and let's concentrate on the music side with that. And if you have anything that you want to talk about, of course, when we come back on segment number two, even though that this there's a two. Even though it's my show, your name is on the marquee, so this is all about you today, baby girl.
All right.
So let's chop it up. Let's take a little quick break here between segment number 1 to segment number 2. Get yourself a beverage, if you will. I know Paul's drinking coffee, and when we get back, we'll yes, and we're gonna pick it up. We're gonna have more fun, and if anybody has any questions, please go onto our live feed page and put it there, and we'll answer the questions for you. So with that said, guys, don't go anywhere. This is Jackie Berthiaume, Jackie's Groove, brought to you by EnterTalk Radio. You're into all things music with my guest, Dr. Tu-Ho. Guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on EnterTalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
The Moyer Entertainment Group, in conjunction with Daddario, Radio Airplay, and Looploft, is keeping music in our local schools and presenting local talent to the world through the Temecula Valley Music Awards. Submissions for entry into the TVMA 2017 season are now open in all genres, including a youth category for artists under 18 for the October 7th Star-Studded Awards Show, where 100% of the proceeds go towards supporting local music education in the Temecula Valley. Details, tvmawards.org.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on EnterTalkRadio.com.
Todd Zuckerman from the rock band Styx, and you're listening to my pal Jackie Berthiaume on Jackie's Groove. Groove on, motherfuckers.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Berthiaume.
Beautiful, beautiful. Hey, guys, welcome back. Segment number 2, Jackie Berthiaume, Jackie's Groove, brought to you by EnterTalk Radio. You're into all things music. Hey, everybody, before we move on with this interview, do us a favor and do yourselves a favor. I always say this, but it's it's patronization for both sides. When you can't listen to Jackie's Groove and the plethora of other shows live, go to Google Play or go to iTunes and download our easy-to-use and navigate application. It's 2 words, EnterTalk first and radio is the second. You can take Jackie's Groove and the rest of our shows on the go with you when you can't listen live. So with that said, hey, talk about live. Man, I'm talking to my girl, Tu-Ho, an amazing, amazing vocalist, man. Can I tell you, guys, I'm going to put my best foot forward here and put the cart well in front of the horse, but this girl has got it going on. And I see that if she stays with the passion that she has for medicine, big things are on the horizon for this girl. You know, we've got to support local music. And so when you're up in the Bay Area, I'm going to assume that there's like either like kind of like a San Diego Reader or BAMI or whatever it may be up there. Mm-hmm, and I'm sure when you're playing up there, girl, or even on your obviously social media, go check this woman out and do me a favor. If you haven't friended her, go to THUHO Jazz on Facebook. Friend this girl. Stay in contact with her. So with that said, girl, welcome back.
Thank you.
And the song that we came in the second set, you want to give me the genesis and what you chose that song and what made you want to sing that to the audiences?
Yeah, so first of all, it's a gorgeous tune. It is a bossa. And oftentimes people think that, bossas all originate from Brazil and for good reason. But this bossa was written by an Italian and named Bruno Martino. And it talks about a love that has gone sour in the summer months. So something very intense, but it didn't quite work out. And so the lyrics are actually quite, how would I say, quite painful, quite treacherous. And but the melody itself is just so gorgeous. So I learned it. It's completely in Italian. And I try to convey the sweetness of love as well as the pain that can come with a breakup. Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of which, I mean, it seems like all the major hits that have been through our soundscape of our lives have been based upon, tragedy, if it's country, loss and love. I mean, the hundreds of millions of dollars that are spent, on, dissolved relationships. And we're not talking about Prozac. We're talking about music. We're talking about music, Tears on My Pillow, and so on and so forth. The inspiration to write and to exude your feelings. Look at Adele. I mean, her biggest, was it 20 or 21?
Yeah.
Was all about her horrible breakup.
Yeah.
And and then I'm going to bring up another name. I'm a big fan of hers just for what she does for musical, the music advocacy, and that's Taylor Swift. I mean, the girl, say what you want to say about the girl, but the girl's a fucking brain.
Yeah.
She's like the Lars Ulrich of Napster. And I mean that just for the fact of the matter is, and I always preach this is not a soapbox, but we're not doing this. Tu's not doing this for health. I'm not doing it for my health. Paul and Florentino, we're all doing this so we can keep a roof over our head. And the fact of the matter is, as long as our wonderful government, and I say that with tongue in cheek, keeps music out of the schools, don't get me going on that situation.
Oh, yeah.
Music does calm the savage beast. And if you don't have music in your heart, you don't have a heart, man. And so with that, and let me ask you this question, girl. If I was to hijack your iPhone or jump in your Tesla, what is on your playlist? What am I going to listen to that you're listening to?
Let's see here. You will be hearing a lot of the classics. Everyone knows of Billie Holiday, Sarah Vaughan, and Ella Fitzgerald. The three Madonnas of the jazz period. But you will also find Nancy Wilson. I love her voice. You'll find Nina Simone in there because Nina's just able to convey so much power and passion, even though she may be, not the most in pitch or have the most sultry voice. But man, did that woman know how to convey a message. You will find Helen Merrill in there. She has, I think, the most sultry voice that in the jazz world. And in terms of modern singers who are making jazz music happen now, I would say it would be Diane Reeves, who dominates in my iPhone, as well as Jane Monheit. So many people. Gretchen Parlato is also in there. I love her too because she's not the typical jazz singer. She's able to kind of take the music, simplify it to its core. What makes it breathe, and she has her own distinct style. And I think that's what jazz is about. It's about how do you convey a message in your way and make it really affect people. It's not about, oh man, that girl can belt, or wow, her voice is so powerful. I've had that as an R&B singer, but whether or not that song is able to touch someone to the core, that's what jazz is about.
But and it's funny because jazz kind of fills in all the the genres of music that we deal in. I mean, you and I, we have mutual friends. I introduced you to my dear friend, Mr. Al Di Meola, the quintessential guitar god in the history of music, and his band. And I mean, other than the fact that not only is these people stupendous and absolutely prolific musicians, but they're just the funnest people to fucking hang out with.
I would have to agree with that.
I mean, last year, Tu actually was a correspondent for EnterTalk Radio, in which she hung out with the boys. Was it 3 or 4 days at Yoshi's up in Northern Cal? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh yes. I also went up to Napa. I think the only show I didn't go to was Monterey. I couldn't make it all the way down there, but other than that, I went to basically every show and hung out with the boys in the green room, and got to see what it's like to be in Al's band and all the shenanigans that go on.
Absolutely, because as soon as that shenanigans stops, as soon as they walk on that stage, everybody but Gumby, his percussionist, which whatever drug that man is on, I definitely want to know. Hopefully, it's legal. To tell a story, we were all cracking up. Tu and I were hanging out with the band, and it was the opening number there at the Music Box in San Diego. All of a sudden, the music's playing, but through the elevator on the third floor, in walks Gumby.
Yeah.
He decided that he was hungry during Al's solo, so he made himself a turkey sandwich with a just grotesque amount of mayonnaise and cheese. He not only sat up there, gave us all a hug, ate the sandwich, but went back down the elevator, was back on stage, and still had 18 bars. It was like, it's funny. He loves you, man. Gumby loves you, and I told you he was listening in. And I know you love Gumby.
I do.
I know you love him. And so instead of telling me how much you love Gumby, do me a favor. Gumby, say hi to Tu. Say hi to Gumby for me, please.
Hello, Miss Tu.
Oh,
Mr. Gumby.
Gumby, it's so nice to have you on the air. It's been too long. Like a year.
How are you? You sound great on radio, by the way.
Oh, why? Thank you. And I would have to say, I want to also thank you because you gave me such great advice while I was hanging out with the boys. Advice to help me move effectively with my vocal career. So thank you so much.
Well, you know what? You're super talented, and whatever little advice I can give to people who are talented, I always try to do it because it's a hard business out there. You know, it's not easy. And I've been fortunate, but, you know, it doesn't happen like that with everybody. But for sure, you deserve it. So I only wish good things for you.
Oh, thank you, Goombi.
You know, Goombi, I told her before you jumped on here, I said, I don't know what drug that you're on, but I hope it's legal, because if I can get your energy and your craziness, you know, bottled, you know, I definitely want to make sure that I can get Medicare to take care of that for me. In fact, your partner, your boss, the crazy man, El Dimiola, I talked to him a couple nights ago. He called me, it was I think 1 o'clock in the morning, so I had to pick it up. And he invited us. And he invited us September 22nd. It's going to be an actual reunion for Goombi and myself, because that's where Goombi and I actually first met at the San Diego, at the Balboa Theater. And so I'm going to invite two because.
Wait! I thought you were taller.
Well, I thought you had more hair. You know, and so it's don't get me going on that, you crazy. Let me just tell you something. You guys, Goombi, I just told that story about you eating the turkey sandwich, then going back down the elevator, and I'm just on time for. Yes. I remember that, man.
Well, yeah, and you know, Goombi, you know, Al has these long. What? You didn't know what?
No. I just want to tell you this why it's on my mind. I want to say, and I said this to you via email and stuff, but God bless your daddy. And Goombi lost his father not too long ago, and I'm an orphan.
Thank you for that, man. Yeah, it was crazy. Thank you.
Yeah, and I didn't follow it until Al called me, because you missed a show here in the U.S. And and Al said, he said it was a great show minus Goombi. And then I said, what do you mean minus Goombi? I said, you finally got smart and fired his fucking ass. And not that I was looking for my own gig with him, but then he told me about Daddy. So everybody, EnterTalk Radio, the Bertonis, we send our condolences to you and yours.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a shock to the system. You know what I mean? It was a shock to the system. But you know, we lived through it. You know, there's an old saying that says, you know, life continues, or, you know, but it doesn't, it's not the same. You know what I mean? It goes on, but it's not the same.
I love it when someone says to me, don't interrupt me. This is my fucking show.
I'm fond of
Jesus
Christ. I can't help it.
I couldn't shut you the fuck up when you were at the studio in San Diego. You sat there and made fun of us because we had powdered creamer.
I brought the wrong coffee. I was.
Exactly.
He's like, this is supposed to be black.
Exactly.
Right. It was a jug of coffee. I said, wait, we were Cuban coffee, a small little spot.
It's all good. I asked Al and I asked Goombi. I said, what are we doing here today? And Al responded by saying, we're here to view your donut selection. So that's how the night started out. You know, but with that said, you guys do us all a favor. Go on to aldimiola.com and follow Goombi, Gumbi Ortiz, on Facebook, and follow, because they'll be coming to the States. When are you actually hitting and starting in the States, Goombi?
You know what? I think, and I'm not sure because, you know, I never look at the schedule, but I think it's when we come back from Hawaii. But I don't know exactly when that is neither, you know. It's in the beginning of September. So I don't know, bro. I'm ashamed to say that I don't know.
No. We'll find out from your management, because we're going to help you guys out and pack that.
Hey, Tu, are you coming to the show? Tu, you coming to the show?
I'm planning on it.
Oh, we hope to see you.
And this time I'll make sure the coffee is black.
Oh, hey, wait a minute, hold on.
What?
Did you just see how he invited you and didn't say one fucking word about me?
No, wait a minute. You said you were coming. You spoke to the chief. You spoke to the boss.
Yeah,
and you said you were invited. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. I'll get you a ticket, a half a ticket, because, you know, just a half a ticket.
Goombi, I love you, but Goombi, I love you, but you're not a Paulinho da Costa or Luis Conte. So, you know, I just want to let you know, one of these days you'll get up to their par. So, ooh, stab. All right, brother, give your grandbabies big kisses for us. I love you, man. Thank you for being part of Jackie's Groove for all these years. And also, you guys, check out Goombi's his own group called A New Groove City. An amazing situation. So go ahead and hunt them down. And so if you're in the Miami, Florida area and so on, please check them out, man. Definitely worth his while. Don't look them directly in the eyes, because you'll get caught into the vortex. But the music is wonderful.
You will, Met. You will melt. Hey, too.
Yes.
Good to hear your voice, and congratulations and continued success.
Thank you, Goombie, and thank you so much for everything that you've done for me and for the universe of music.
Well, okay. Well, I love you, and I'll see you guys. Jackie, I'll see you and your better half in California.
Cappy just walked in the studio. I will do so. I love you, brother, and we will see you in a couple months.
All right, buddy. You take care, and thank you. Bye-bye.
Hasta luego. Everybody, that is my boy, Goombie Ortiz. Been with Al DiMeola's percussionist for over 31 years. Yeah, he's a beast, an absolute beast. So let's get back to the interview on hand. I had to do that for you, too, because he said to me, he goes, I got to talk to that beautiful lady. So thanks to Paul and Ma Bell, we were able to get him on the line right there. So so let's go back here for a second. Okay, and so through that, I'm going to kind of put a little spoiler here. I've been talking to Al.
Yeah.
And, and I said it'd be kind of fun because Al very rarely, but sporadically throws in vocals, out there. And what we're trying to do right now is, and I've already talked to Richie Kotzen and Al, and I think Richie's going to be hopefully in town or in California at the time, and hopefully come in and sit in with Al on that show. But I'd like to see if I can do something, man. And don't get nervous here, but see if we can do something to get the Miss Ho up on stage, and even if it's vocalese, whatever it may be, it's going to be something that will bust your cherry, for the lack of a better word, getting in front of those big big audiences.
Oh yeah,
and so on, man. And it's but I want to ask you here, this last minute and 30 seconds, I'm not going to ask a question that's going to require a 5-minute response.
Yeah.
But I want to know you as a young artist, if you will, in the industry. I want you to share with other young artists that are listening right now what it feels, what you do to psych yourself up, for the lack of a better word, before you walk on. And let me just tell you, when we were blessed to interview Al Jarreau, Al said he still had the same angst walking on stage in front of 300 people that he did walking on stage in front of 100,000 people. But he chose the first part. The smaller the audience, the better, because you want to be able to see the immediate reaction. You want to be able to hear the people breathe.
Yeah.
You want to be able to connect with them in a better situation. So I want to talk about that situation. And if you have any questions for me, what it's like to adjust to a large audience, or just to an audience period, or just the craziness of this industry, please, pry on my knowledge. I've been around more years that I want to talk about. So with that said, everybody, I'm having a great time too. I hope you're having an amazing time right now.
I am. This is so great.
This is the first show, Emerging Mondays on Jackie's Groove. I couldn't choose a better person to be involved in this than my dear friend, Tu Ho. And we're going to be doing this, I would say, not every Monday, all depending on Megan and my producer, how she gets things locked in. But we do have a standing room only when it comes to Mondays. So you are the girl. You're the one that broke the mold, girl.
Oh,
so with that said, don't go anywhere. We're coming out of segment number 2 into segment number 3, the last segment of a 1-hour interview with this amazing girl, my dear friend of mine, Tu Ho. Jazz vocalist, soon to be the extraordinary jazz vocalist.
Thank you.
You guys, Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove, brought to you by EnterTalk Radio. You're into all things music. Coming up on segment number 3, you don't want to go anywhere. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear, host of Sound Experience here on EnterTalk Radio. And Source Connect by Source Element is the essential tool that we use to link between my studio in Austin, Texas, and the WS radio station in San Diego. Now, with Source Connect, not only can we communicate in real time and with HD audio, but it's synced up and is of a high enough quality that I can use it for real-time ADR work, remote recording, and overdubbing, and it even allows me to remotely control a DAW. Source Connect by Source Element. Affordable, high-quality audio and video connection over the internet for all of your production needs.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on EnterTalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on EnterTalkRadio.com.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hi, this is Michael McDonald, and you're listening to my good buddy Jackie Berthiaume on Jackie's Groove.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Berthiaume.
One night when the moon was full, I wasn't wise enough, unable to see. I fell in love with love everlasting. My love fell in love with me. My love fell in love with me.
And we're back, everybody. Segment number 3, the final hour of a 1-hour interview with my dear friend, a girl I love with all my passion and heart, and so does my wife and everybody else out there who knows Miss Ho. She is the Ho to reckon with. Guys, welcome back. Jackie's Groove, Jackie Berthiaume, that's me, blah, 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 brought to you by EnterTalk Radio Network, the ones that keep the lights on. And we're back here with Miss Tu Ho. You know, Tu had said to me on the break, she goes, did I sound a little bit nervous? No, you didn't sound at all. But I figured if anybody can loosen up her jeans, that would be Mr. Goomba Ortiz.
Ooh.
And he did so. And, you know, we talked about that. And the song that we just came in on, the top of that, give me the genesis and the backstory of that song and why you chose that tune.
That song is called Falling in Love with Love. And I chose that song to be a part of my repertoire because the lyrics, it has so much cynicism and sarcasm in it. But the funny thing about the song is that despite all the cynicism, the person singing it still will fall in love again and again because you're just entrapped and there's nothing you can do about it. The song is also a nice, fun swing song to kind of break up the ballads. And you have a chance to be able to scat on it as well. So there's just so much flexibility in that. And it's an all-time favorite for all the musicians. And I also wanted to just give credit where it's due. The musicians on that track were Denny Berthiaume and his trio, which included that night Bill Belasco on drums and Chuck Bennett on the bass, on the acoustic bass.
You know, and it's that song I was just listening to because as a typical percussionist, I'm thinking to myself, how cool would that be? Is just you, me, and Goombi together on that, and that little break right there would be amazing.
Yeah,
you know, holding down that groove for the lack of, you know, and we can sit there and we can play all these wonderful little tunes and stuff that you're in stage. But I wanted to ask you, like I said, coming out of the last segment, what do you feel? What do you do to prepare yourself when you walk out? And I guess this is another question is, what is the largest crowd that you've sung in front of to this date? What's the largest crowd?
The largest crowd that I've sung to, I would have to say it was a room with probably 500 pediatric endocrinologists.
Wow, you talk about being scrutinized, huh?
Yeah. And people said, wow, this is probably the best interview you've ever had for a future job. This is when I was a fellow, and I went to the National Endocrine Conference, and I think it was in San Diego. And I had performed earlier in a talent show for that conference. So, as you said, a bunch of doctors coming out with their music skills and talent, and just kind of adding to the conference. And I had won a competition in that conference. It's kind of like a what do you call it, like a academic decathlon for endocrine. And I had actually won it, so I was actually there to receive that trophy and that prize. And then someone said, "Oh, and she sings too." So the president of the Pediatric Endocrine Society asked me to sing, and I couldn't say no. So I got to sing in front of a very large audience of pediatric endocrinologists.
To you, while this is on my mind, I'm going to ask you a question. Actually, a question developed by Caprice, and I love this. And everybody I've asked this, from the who's who into right now to the emerging artist. I love this question, and it's a question you have to put your thinking cap on, and sometimes maybe it'll come to you right away. But if Tu wasn't a physician, / if Tu wasn't a jazz singer or a singer, period, what would Tu be doing today?
If I weren't...
That's the same response I get from everybody.
Yeah, no, that's a difficult one. So if I weren't a jazz singer and I weren't a doctor?
Yes, correct.
What would I be doing today? So that's difficult because I think one of the obstacles I had to that I struggled with as I was discovering myself through my late teens and my 20s is that I have so many interests. Some people go into medicine because that's the only thing they can think of. It's what they live and breathe. Right. Or some people go into music because that's what, they live and breathe that. But for me, I have so many interests. I love dance. I was a competitive ballroom dancer in college because I wanted to explore it. I love physics. I love math. I love music. And I don't think I could just do one thing and be happy with it. I have to do many things and be happy. And that's why I can be a part-time doctor and a part-time jazz singer. But if I couldn't do both of those things, what would I do? I would probably be a physicist or a chemist in the lab. And I would want to create new drugs and new therapies for people who are ill. I think.
And that's great because Carly said to me on Friday, she said that, she did the same thing like everybody says. She said if she wasn't a singer, actress, blah, 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 in that same genre of entertainment, she would probably be a psychiatrist. And the reason why she said that is because through music, she can help people through difficulties. How many times have you heard an individual say, if it wasn't for this song, if it wasn't for your musical background, I probably wouldn't be here today. You brought me through it. And that made sense, though, because basically you guys as singers are storytellers, and if you're a really good storyteller, then chances are you're a really good singer or you're a poet, and to exude that situation. So it's a great question. It's an unfair question to a certain level because sometimes this question has to go, in minutes of a response. But the fact of the matter is I had a couple people even tell me, if I couldn't do this, I would probably die. And, and I mean, yes, that's an extreme, but the situation is I can't imagine. I mean, my background of a musician, in this case, a radio guy and a jewelry guy. I think, as we get going and as we get older, sky's the limit. We can always teach an old dog a new trick.
Absolutely.
And what I'm going to do for you right now is I'm going to put you on the spot right now. If I can hear Paul in the background. Paul, are we ready for this, buddy?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and treat everybody here in the last, how many more minutes do we have here?
About 10 minutes.
10 minutes. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to let everybody relax right now. If you're driving, hopefully stuck in traffic, we're going to make this real simple for you. I'm going to bring Miss Tu Ho live with Paul Berzetsky, the COO and the engineer of EnterTalk Radio, a little live music. For your listening pleasure, please welcome Miss Tu Ho.
Thank you, Jackie.
Give me a little sound check.
Check.
Is that good?
Sounds good.
Good here.
A flat?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like a flower ready to bloom, like a lime bone in a dark room. I'm just sitting here waiting for you to come on home and turn me on. Like the desert, waiting for the rain. Like a school kid waiting for the spring. I'm just sitting here waiting for you to come on home and turn me on. My poor heart, it's been so dark since you've been gone. And after all, you're the one who turns me off. But you're the only one who can turn me back on. My hi-fi is waiting for a new tune. My glass is waiting for some fresh ice cubes. I'm just sitting here waiting for you to come on home and turn me on.
Beautiful. Thank you, baby girl. That was wonderful. And people out there, just understand something. There's two words that you'll never hear in that song. It's called auto-tune. My fans, that is a real voice. How did that feel to you, girl?
It sounds great, especially because I know I'm singing to you, Jackie.
Oh, thank you, my darling. So that is what it's all about. It's paying it forward. And when you can sit there and put somebody on the spot, even though there was talk about this, but to knock it out. And Paul, beautiful job, brother. You know, we're pretty proud here at EnterTalk. My bumper music that comes in and out of the segments is a song that was composed by, correct me if I'm wrong, Florentino, the CEO, and Paul, the CEO. Paul's playing guitar on it. I'm playing percussion, and Tino's playing bass. So,
and it's all auto-tune.
Yeah, it's all auto-tune, exactly. Who are we lying to? But the fact is, you know, we're definitely a company that's composed of talent. And the whole thing about Jackie's Groove is keeping it real and bringing you back behind the velvet rope itself to kind of give you an idea what it's like to be or walk in the shoes of my interviews that I compose. And I want to ask you this question, girl. I asked you this earlier, but for the young and old out there, what is it that you do, especially as a physician and knowing how to take care of your body and such? Mm-hmm. But what is it you do before you perform to get your voice in check? Are you drinking the tea? Are you staying away from certain foods? Share that with the listeners.
Sure. I think the most important key element is sleep. Sleep, yeah. If you have good sleep the night before and just consistently, that is the best thing to do for your voice. And I remember when I had learned, when I learned this for myself, and I learned it through my private lessons with Merrill Shea in college. Then I remember there was an interview with Whitney Houston, and she also said, yeah, the most important thing for her is sleep. Because when your voice sounds great, it's strong. There's a certain, it's almost like your body knows that its physical fitness is at its best, and you're able to go on stage confidently. Whereas if you're sick, or if you know that you just had a bad night, or you were, smoking 10 packs the night before, your body knows that your voice is gonna have some trouble, and it really does have an impact on your confidence on stage. So I would say sleep is the most important thing, and just being able to go on stage and know that you're going to own the crowd. They're going to love you, and you just have to emote what it is that you're feeling, and they'll hear it.
2 words or maybe 1 word, correct me my grammar. I'm going to ask you this question. Bucket list.
Ooh.
What's on yours?
What's on mine? Jackie, that's such a difficult question. I would have to say being able to sing jazz at different venues throughout San Francisco and the Bay Area.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to be able to perform outside of the Bay Area as well. It's one of those things where I'm so grateful to be able to have dual careers. I'm happy with what I have, but hey, if things go in a direction where I can sing for bigger audiences, then I will go on that path, on that wavelength. What else would I would like to be able to improve and get better at emoting that intimacy to people. I think that's very difficult to do, to be able to touch someone's heart and have them either, cry or have them really be on that same wavelength with you. I think that's very difficult to do. And to be able to get that done through your voice, by your phrasing, by how you change, either change the lyrics or change the rhythm or how you say certain words. I think that's a skill that you just have to learn throughout your entire lifetime. And I'm looking forward to that, to see how much I progress when I'm, 10 years from now, 20 years from now.
As it is said, my friend, be careful and watch what you wish for.
Oh, okay.
Because you're surrounded by a lot of people with a lot of connections. I mean, yes. So when I'm a believer, I do the best. I put my best foot forward. And so, with that said, my love,
yes.
1 minute and 30 seconds left. Would you go ahead and share with the audience? I kind of sporadically put this through the interview, but share with the audience how they can contact Tu, and how they can stalk you, if you will. Give me some URLs and give me some email addresses and etc.
Absolutely. So I have an artist's webpage, and it's easy. It's my name plus music.com. So it's www.thuhomusic.com, and they can go through my gallery, my music, my videos, my bio, my EPK with the electronic press kit, and how to be able to contact me. So it's all on my website. They can also find me at Facebook. And it's the same thing, facebook.com/tuhomusic.com. And that will go to my artist's page. And you can read up on what I'm doing, what my next gig will be, and photos from previous gigs, as well as music clips there, too.
Perfect. Hey, guys, I want everybody to give a round of applause. And, of course, if you're driving, keep your hands on the wheel.
Oh, yeah.
And I want everybody to thank personally my dear friend, great jazz artist, an amazing pediatric physician, Miss Tu Ho. And I want to thank you, girl, for making today the first day of Emerging Mondays. What a way and what a jump off that was. So with that said, honey, welcome to the and she's in the background. Cappy's clapping for you in the background. We love you, baby girl, and have a great time while you're down here. And we will see you, fingers crossed, in September at Al Di Meola Show.
Fantastic.
So with that said, guys, everybody say goodbye to Miss Tu Ho. And as I say everything else in all my interviews, 3 words, peace through music. Tu, we love you, baby girl. Best of health, and we'll see you real soon.
Thank you, Jackie. Love you.
Be well, baby.
I
Bye-bye.
will. Bye-bye.
This is Jackie Berthiaume from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on EnterTalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.